Tonight's top stories. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. reminds graduates to do their best, lead with humility, and serve with integrity during the commencement exercise of the Philippine Merchant Marine Academy, or PMMA. The Department of National Defense, or DND, pushes back against racist remarks made by China against Filipinos. The spokesperson for the impeachment court says it is too early to say whether the trial will conclude ahead of schedule, following the withdrawal of the presentation of several witnesses by the prosecution panel. All these and more on PTV News Tonight. Good evening. Welcome to PTV News Tonight. When a party in a dispute resorts to tactics or responses straight from the gutter, then it is clear it has lost reason, focus, and the entire argument itself. Much like the latest disgraceful and racist AI-generated video released by a Chinese Communist Party-run media outlet to demean and disparage the country's rightful claim to maritime territories in the West Philippine Sea. Our J.M. Thompson on the sharp rebuke it has drawn from the country's institutions to include a diplomatic protest against Beijing.
The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, has formally filed a diplomatic protest against China Daily, a Chinese state-run media outlet. According to the DFA, it is unacceptable to release false narratives that employ defamatory, derogatory, and racist depictions against Filipinos. The agency also urged the immediate removal of the video in question and the cessation of disseminating malicious propaganda through disinformation. The Department of National Defense also stated that the video shows China's lack of respect and its slanderous depiction of Filipinos, which should not be tolerated. Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, J. Tariela, also condemned the Chinese state-run media outlet for referring to Filipinos as stupid monkeys.
There's no excuse or justifiable reason para sa People's Republic of China na gumawa ng isang racist video. Kailangan hindi natin sila bigyan ng puwang or excuse to justify na ginawa namin to kasi hindi kami natutuwa sa 2016 Orbital Award.
He added that everything released by the said media outlet is approved and disseminated directly by the government of the People's Republic of China. He further noted that the video depicts Filipinos as an inferior race merely dictated to by stronger nations, which is allegedly China's way of weakening the country's message during the celebration of the 10th year commemoration of the 2016 Arbitral Award.
Sa ating society ngayon, at this modern age, wala nang puwang ang racism para maliitin ang kahit na sinong lahi dito sa mundo. Mas ginalit nila ang mga Pilipino. Again, awakening the sense of patriotism of any country, not just Filipinos, is very dangerous, no? Because it will unite us. And for so many, for the past 2 years, that's what we really wanted to have. To awaken the sense of patriotism of the Filipino people, for us to be united as a nation and to stand up for our rights.
It can be recalled that there have been numerous incidents of Chinese Coast Guard ships water canning Filipino vessels, which was also depicted in the video. This, he said, is a clear depiction of racist behavior and blatant disrespect toward Filipinos.
Ganun silang ka-racist. No? Winawater cannon nila ang monkey, tapos pinuportray nila na stupid monkey. So that only shows how racist the Chinese Communist Party is, no? I'm not referring to the Chinese people, but to the Chinese Communist Party. Sila ang mga racist dito.
Meanwhile, several groups praised the swift and firm condemnation by various government agencies against the AI-generated video that insult Filipinos regarding the Philippines' 2016 arbitral victory in the West Philippine Sea. The Alyansa ng Bantay sa Kapayapaan at Demokrasya also supports the call for every Filipino to reject the desecration of the nation's dignity and the malicious comparison of Filipinos to monkeys. The group's chairman emeritus Dr. Jose Antonio Goycia added that the dignity of Filipinos, including issues surrounding Philippine sovereignty, must not be trampled upon, especially while the Chinese embassy remains silent. J.M. Thompson for The Nation.
The House Prosecution Panel's decision to forego cross-examining 6 witnesses in its grave threats impeachment article does not necessarily mean the period to complete tackling such article will finish ahead of schedule. This as the panel's last witness is slated to testify next week and could take a day or 2 or more to complete, as we hear more from our Bernard Ferrer.
It is too early to determine whether the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte will conclude ahead of schedule, despite the prosecution's withdrawal of some of its witnesses. This was emphasized by impeachment court spokesperson, Attorney Reginald Tongol. The prosecution panel withdrew 6 of its witnesses for Article 4 of the Articles of Impeachment or alleged grave threats. NBI Director Melvin Matibag remains the prosecution's sole witness for the said article of impeachment.
Yung na-save natin na ilang araw can be used for other witnesses, for other articles, or other matters that the court will consider. Katulad na lamang ng oral arguments sa subpoena issuance.
Under the pre-trial order, the prosecution was allotted 11 trial days to present its evidence on Article 4. Which centers on the alleged threats against President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., First Lady Liza Arneta Marcos, and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. During the first 4 days of the impeachment trial, prosecution presented 2 witnesses, NBI Senior Agent John Mark Calilong and NBI Regional Director Attorney Jeremy Lotto. On the 6th day of the trial, the impeachment court heard oral arguments on the motion to issue subpoenas for Vice President Duterte's tax, bank, and AMLAC records. Meanwhile, Tongol also stressed that any person who violates the rules of the impeachment court may be held in contempt. He explained that any center judge may request the presiding officer to declare any witness, lawyer, or any individual who disrupts the proceedings in contempt.
May namang klase ng pagkastigo o yung pag-penalize ng mga contemptuous actions, no? Isa dyan is yung i-reprimand sila, a-admonish sila, papaalalahanan sila. Pangalawa, yung papaalisin sila or papabayarin sila ng penalty o kaya naman ipapakulong sila.
Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian also explained that a presiding officer was appointed to the impeachment trial to enable the Senate to continue its other important legislative responsibilities while the trial is underway. He said the Senate must also focus on the proposed 2027 national budget, that 50 LEDEC priority measures, and several pending investigations, including those on flood control projects, the Tacloban shooting, and El Nino. Gatchalian emphasized that passing the national budget before the end of the year is a top priority. He also maintained the Constitution does not require the presiding officer be a lawyer, adding the Senate's decision was primarily driven by the need to complete its numerous legislative and oversight responsibilities. Bernard Ferrer for The Nation.
The deadly mass shooting in a Tacloban City National High School last month has prompted the crafting of a piece of legislation that seeks to block out access to firearms, bullet rounds, and the like to youths at risk. The creation of safer gun-free zones in campuses and holding parents and legal guardians into stricter account. Arshida Tividad has more on House Bill 10058, or the Child Safety Against Gun Violence Act.
It has been nearly a month since the shooting incident at a school in Tacloban City involving minors. But more than the lives lost, the tragedy left deep wounds on the families who were left behind. And while the Department of Education or DepEd continues to conduct safety drills and active shooter simulations to prepare students for emergencies, the question remains, how can such acts of violence be prevented from happening in the first place? This is the objective of the House Bill number 10058, or the Child Safety Against Gun Violence Act, filed by Ulat Bayan Party List Representative Chel Jokno. Among the bill's primary objectives are to prevent children from becoming involved in gun violence, hold parents or legal guardians accountable, and create a safer environment in schools. First, all schools, including a 100-meter radius surrounding them, will be designated as gun-free zones. This means firearms will be prohibited within these areas. The bill also prohibits minors from owning or possessing firearms and ammunition. Individuals 21 years old and below will no longer be allowed to enter or train with firearms at shooting ranges. Second, for parents or legal guardians who own firearms, the bill requires that this be stored in a secure gun safe and kept unloaded. Ammunition must also be stored separately. Should a parent, legal guardian, or even school official be found negligent in addressing threats or violence, they may be held liable under the proposed law. Third, the bill does not focus on security alone. It also seeks to strengthen mental health support for students. The measure also proposes the appointment of school safety officers and the creation of school safety committees in every school. The bill also strengthens anti-bullying programs and calls for additional guidance counselors to help identify potential threats of violence at an early stage and provide assistance to students experiencing emotional distress. Jokno emphasized that schools should remain safe spaces for students, teachers, and their families. He said that schools should be places of learning and opportunity, not of fear and grief. Sheila Natividad, for the Nation.
It used to be not so long ago, motorcycle riders were the perpetrators of robberies on the road or hit jobs on victims aboard their vehicles. Since last week, though, 2 motorcycle taxi riders making their living on their wheels lost their lives to passengers they picked up on the road. The first one on July 9 held up and shot by the guy who booked him for a ride. And on Tuesday, Juan Fabio Norberte Jr. was fatally stabbed by his passenger upon reaching his destination, as our Ryan Lesigas reports.
The family of motorcycle taxi rider Fabian Norberte Jr. is mourning after he was killed by his passenger earlier this week in Caloocan City. His death left behind his 3-year-old child who has a disability. The mother of the 43-year-old motorcycle rider could not hold back her tears. The family's grief could be felt even outside their home.
Lahat ng paggastos, siya yung sumusuporta. Paano na yung pag-aaral ng anak niya na may kapansanan? Kami, matanda na kami, siya yung inaasahan namin na ganyan, siya yung maglilibing sa amin, siya yung mag-ano sa amin.
The victim was the family's breadwinner.
Tatanggapin ko pang nagkasakit ng grabe yung anak ko eh. Kasakit na sana siya. Wag lang naman na siya lang yung tikitil sa buhay ng anak ko.
The family is now calling for justice for Fabian.
Pagdusahan niya din yun. Kung anong nangyari sa anak ko, kabagay kahit 10 beses pa siyang mamatay, hindi na may babalik yung buhay ng anak ko. Kaya, kung may Diyos man tayo, bahala ng Panginoon.
The incident happened in the early hours of Tuesday. Fabian was supposed to drop off his passenger in Kaunlaran Village, Caloocan, but instead of receiving payment for the ride, he was stabbed by his passenger. The motorcycle rider suffered a fatal stab wound to his side. The suspect was immediately arrested. Fabian is the second motorcycle taxi rider to be killed by a passenger within the week. The incident has raised public concern over safety, despite the Philippine National Police statement that the country's crime rate continues to decline.
Mas ligtas po ang Pilipinas ngayon as compared to the previous periods. Pero this is small consolation. Naintindihan po natin na this is small consolation po kung hindi po ito ang ating nararamdaman. Medyo nakikita lang po natin, siyempre mga sensational yung mga nangyayari. Pero yung statistics po natin talaga, pababa po talaga yung krimen.
Ryan Lesigas, for the Nation.
Cabinet Secretary Benhur Abalos recently visited the family of Fabio Norberte Jr., a motorcycle taxi rider who was tragically stabbed to death by a passenger early morning last Tuesday. Norberte, a single father, was working to save for the therapy and future of his 3-year-old child who has autism. Representing President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., Secretary Abalos extended personal condolences and financial assistance to the bereaved family. The government also assured continued support to Norberte's child. While grateful for the assistance, the family continues to appeal for justice, urging for the perpetrator to be held accountable for the crime committed to ensure no other families will experience the same tragedy. In other news, the Office of the Vice President's consecutive years of high score rating from the Commission on Audit means the OVP's books were presented properly in line with the applicable financial reporting guidelines. In short, the OVP's submissions of its financial records may have been sufficient in form, but in no way does it justify the numbers entered in the books. Hence, one challenge by the House Prosecution Panel to the Vice President is to explain, among others, the notice of disallowances in the hundreds of millions, as per my report. The panel of prosecutors challenged the defense team of Vice President Sara Duterte to prove to the public that the Vice President legally used the public funds. This comes despite the Commission on Audit, or COA, issuing an unmodified opinion on the Office of the Vice President. An unmodified opinion means that an agency's financial statements are fairly presented, but it does not necessarily mean there are no audit findings or liabilities involving specific transactions.
Maraming mga opisina sa buong burokrasya na nakakakuha ng unmodified opinion, but at the same time, meron po hinaharap na mga notices of disallowance, finality of decision po ng COA proper. So, great na meron po nga unmodified opinion, pero tuloy pa rin po na may pinapasoling 448 million personal sa atin pong pangalawang Pangulo.
The Senate Impeachment Court is expected to take up Article 1 of the Articles of Impeachment on Wednesday, covering the alleged misuse of confidential funds, once discussions on Article 4, which involves the alleged threats, are completed on Tuesday. Among the evidence to be presented are the COA's liquidation findings on the alleged misuse of confidential funds by Vice President Duterte. In March, the COA issued a notice of disallowance requiring Vice President Duterte and several officials of the Office of the Vice President to return a total of 448 million pesos. This includes 3 cash advances of 125 million pesos each for confidential expenses in 2023, with a total value of 375 million pesos, as well as a 73 million peso disallowance for 2022.
Pera ng taong bayan ito Kailangan patunayan kung ito ba'y nagamit sa tama.
The trial will also examine the acknowledgement receipts bearing the names Mary Grace Piatos, Milky Sequia, Kokoy Villamin, and Irene Tan. The prosecution is also expected to present PSA reports related to these identities. Ramil Madriaga, the alleged former aide and bagman of Vice President Duterte, may also be called to testify. Madriaga earlier testified the House Committee on Justice during a clarificatory hearing that the OVP's 125 million pesos in confidential funds was allegedly spent in just 18 hours. A total of 31 days has been allotted for the presentation of evidence under Article 1 of the impeachment trial. If the prosecution believes the evidence on the alleged misuse of confidential funds is already sufficient, the prosecution said some witnesses may be waived. This is Sean Zaspina for The Nation. Ngayon, volcano in Albay continues to spew ash from a new lava flow on its southwestern flank. This according to the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS. Alert level 3 remains in effect over the volcano as authorities closely monitor rising sulfur dioxide emissions. PHIVOLCS warns that communities in the southern and eastern parts of the volcano may experience light ashfall due to weak winds. Meanwhile, the audible rumbling sounds from the volcano are attributed to frequent strombolian activity caused by the movement of gas-rich magma. In the meantime, the Maharlika Highway in Barangay Making, Parang, Maguindanao del Norte is now fully open to motorists and commuters. This following immediate repair works led by the Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, on a damaged section of the road. The highway was put in temporary closure after flash floods washed out the newly laid asphalt. These repairs are in line with the directive of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to expedite the restoration of roads and infrastructure affected by persistent rains brought by recent typhoons and the southwest monsoon. Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP reported a 17.1% decline in overall counterfeit banknotes in 2025, which was attributed to enhanced security features on new bills, increased public awareness, and improved detection training for cash handlers. BSP annual report shows that documented cases dropped to 57,945 pieces from the 69,925 record in 2024. Despite the overall positive trend, the central bank noted a sharp increase in counterfeit polymer banknotes, which climbed to 1,358 pieces in 2025 from just 3 pieces in 2024. While this represents a significant jump, polymer fakes still account for only 2.3% of the total recorded counterfeit currency, with traditional paper bills remaining the primary focus of forgers. The Basis Conversion and Development Authority, or BCDA, has officially launched project preparation for the modernization of the Poro Point Seaport in La Union. This following a 68.08 million peso funding award from the Public-Private Partnership, or PPP Center. This project aims to upgrade the current bulk cargo terminal into a world-class, fully containerized gateway to serve as a major trade and logistics hub for northern Luzon. The modernization will include new container terminals, quay and yard cranes, expanded storage, and the integration of automated gate and terminal operating systems. Its construction is slated to begin in the second quarter of 2027 with a target completion date in 2029. In other news, Prime Energy has successfully concluded a month-long maintenance shutdown at the Malampaya Deepwater Gas-to-Power project. After completion of critical infrastructure upgrades across offshore platforms and onshore networks in Batangas, gas deliveries from the offshore field resumed last July 15. This in preparation of the site for the Malampaya Phase 4 campaign, which will integrate 2 new production wells, the Malampaya East 1 and Camago 3. The expansion aims for first gas in the fourth quarter of 2026, seeking to stop declining production and extend the asset's commercial lifespan by up to 6 years. During the recent shutdown, it successfully supplied emergency gas reserves to prime Cogen power plants during Typhoon Inday, which prevented forced outages and helped maintain grid stability. More news and stories coming your way. Don't move a muscle.
Witness for confidential fund will be presented on July 22, that is Wednesday. We are requesting that we be allowed to request for the issuance of subpoena for our first 3 witnesses for confidential fund. Marivic Pareja of the Legislative Archives, Museum Management Service of the House of Representatives, Violeta Constantino, former branch manager of Land Bank Show Boulevard Branch, and Ninita Camposano, former branch manager, Land Bank Debit Branch.
Ang ating mga programa are now among Asia's best. Nominado ang Schoolmates bilang Best Current Affairs Program Made in Asia for a Single Market in Asia at ang PTV Sports bilang Best Sports Magazine Program Made in Asia sa Content Asia Awards 2026 sa pagbibigay boses at inspirasyon sa kabataan at sa atletang Pilipino. Kayo ay aming ipinagmamalaki. Ano nga ba ang impeachment? Ang impeachment ay isang proseso sa ilalim ng 1987 Constitution upang panagutin ang pinakamatataas na opisyal ng gobyerno kung sila ay lumabag sa tiwala ng taong bayan. Nagsisimula ito sa pag-file ng isang impeachment complaint na sa kalaunan ay maaaring humantong sa isang trial. Kabilang sa mga impeachable official ang presidente, vice-presidente, mga mahistrado ng Korte Suprema, mga miyembro ng Constitutional Commission at ang Ombudsman. Maaari silang sampahan ng reklamo batay sa mga dahilan o grounds na paglabag sa konstitusyon, pagtataksil, panunuhol o pagtanggap ng suhol, korupsyon, mabibigat na krimen at ang pagtataksil sa tiwala ng bayan. Ang impeachment ay naiiba sa simpleng kaso sa korte dahil itinakda ito ng konstitusyon upang panatilihi ang katotohanan at katarungan at tiyakin na may pananagutan ang mga pinakamatataas na opisyal ng bayan.
Tara na sa masayang mundo ng paglikha. Kung gusto niyo namang balikan ang mga obrang ginawa natin this week,
iba-ibang DIY projects, fun trivias at artworks. Para sa lahat ng kids at mga kids at heart.
Samahan si Kuya Joseph, Elia at Cholo sa kanilang exciting art adventures at bigyang kulay ang buhay.
Artsy Craftsy!
Artsy Craftsy, tuwing Sabado, 10:30 ng umaga. Dito lang sa PTV. For our next food crawl.
Palabiro lang pero medyo sinungaling talaga. Hanggang sa loob ng meat, may flavor. Ang sarap.
Tara na sa another Chibugan kasama ang certified foodie na si Joshua Garcia.
Teka lang. Kumain yung Sir Carlo.
Ngayong linggo, 10:10 ng umaga.
Konti lang sa'yo kasi sa akin to. Ang damot na naman sa shawarma.
Dito lang sa PTV. PTV Consumer Watch. Bantay presyo sa gasolina.
Hatid sa inyo ang ringside view ng matitinding ensayo ng mga boksingerong Pinoy para makamit ang Power Punch with Paolo Salamatin. Dito lang sa PTV Sports.
Disaster Watch. Mga paalala pagkatapos ng lindol. Suriin ang iyong sarili at mga kasama kung may tinamong pinsala. Magbigay ng paunang lunas kung kailangan. Unahin ang mga pangangailangan ng mga matatanda, buntis, may kapansanan at mga bata. Kung nasa tabing dagat at may banta ng tsunami, agad na lumikas papunta sa ligtas at mataas na lugar. Suriin kung may natapong nakalalasong kemikal at mga bagay na maaaring pagmulan ng sunog. Patayin ang main switch ng tubig at kuryente, pati na rin ang tangke ng gas o LPG. Huwag bumalik sa loob ng gusali hanggat walang abiso na ligtas na ito. Sa panahon ng sakuna, dapat laging listo. Tanong ng ordinaryong Pilipino, hahanapan ng tugon.
Hindi ako kailangan malakas sa'yo, pero nadadala ko yung aking hinaing. Are you ready to do this?
Serbisyo at programa ng pamahalaan, ipauunawa sa mga kababayan.
Will I feel confident if I'm a worker na pag ako ay alumnus ng TESDA, hindi niyo ako pababayaan?
Mga isyong komplikado, lilinawin ng husto.
Is bakit sa atin itong Philippine Sea? Have you engaged in many of the needed, shall I say, restructuring of the armed forces to defend the territory of this republic, to defend the sovereignty of the Republic of the Philippines?
Pag-usapan natin with Oscar Orbos. Dito lang sa inyong People's Television.
The quality of work and service Filipino seafarers provide to clients worldwide is top-notch, if not the gold standard. Hence, in today's commencement exercises of graduates of the Philippine Merchant Marine Academy, the president exhorted the graduating class to always exhibit humility and integrity in all the work they do. Our Bernard Ferrer has more.
to perform their duties with excellence, led with humility and serve with integrity. That was a message of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to the members of the Philippine Merchant Marine Academy or PMMMAs sa lighirang class of 2026 during their commencement exercise in San Felipe, Zambales, where a total of 327 cadets graduated. He also emphasized that they are now part of the ranks of respected Filipino mariners who are recognized around the world for their skills and excellence.
You are respected because you consistently show competence, professionalism, dedication. More importantly, you have earned the trust of the international community. But this reputation is not permanent. It must be earned by every generation.
The president also stressed that he is aware many Filipino seafarers continue to face risk, especially when sailing through areas affected by the conflict in the Middle East. However, he said the government is doing everything it can to ensure assistance reaches affected seafarers.
But the government's duty does not end with standards and employability. Many of our seafarers continue to travel through uncertain waters, including the areas affected by conflict, especially now in the Middle East. In this difficult situation, your safety and welfare remains our priority. Your government will always be within reach, ready to help.
He added that the government continues to strengthen maritime education in the country and improve certification standards for Filipino seafarers. This follows the threat to the livelihoods of thousands of Filipino seafarers after the Philippines failed to meet the standards of the European Maritime Safety Agency or EMSA.
We could not allow the future of our Filipino seafarers to be placed in such a situation. And that is why your government acted immediately. We strengthened maritime education and training, improved certification systems, upgraded facilities and equipment, and worked closely with our international partners to ensure that Philippine standards continue to meet global expectations. Through these efforts, we will continue to safeguard the global employability of Filipino seafarers. At the same time, we will uphold the highest international standards in our maritime education, training, and certification system.
Leading the Salighirang class of 2026 was Midshipman First Class Mark Owen S. Triles of Camarines Sur. His journey was far from easy, having tried 3 times before gaining admission to the PMMA, but he chose to persevere.
But looking back, those moments were never really about quitting. They reminded us that it is normal to feel tired, but we must never stop moving forward. Above all, I give back all the glory and honor to our Almighty God.
The name Salighirang is derived from the Cebuano words Salig means trust and Hirang means chosen or destined. Bernard Ferrer for The Nation.
The election period for the Bangsamoro polls in September officially kicked off today in Cotabato City and other parts of the BARMM. In Cotabato City, Acting City Election Officer Muyamar Guil, along with City's Police Officer Jibin Bongkayao and Marine Battalion Landing Team 6 Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Rod Erebal, spearheaded the event. Likewise, representatives from the PNP and Philippine Coast Guard also joined in to show support and solidarity to keep the elections free, fair, and safe. Even before today's election period kickoff, police and military checkpoints have been set up in key areas of all the provinces in the BARMM as a precursor to the firearm and or gun ban that automatically takes effect today till the 29th of September. The Metro Manila Development Authority is at the forefront of preparations to ensure a safe, smooth, and snag-free turnout of events for the President's State of the Nation on July 27. Tomorrow, it will help lead a walkthrough exercise in collaboration with the Secretaries General of both Houses of Congress and their staffs. The full report from our J.M. Thompson.
Various government agencies will conduct a walkthrough this Saturday to prepare for the 5th State of the Nation address or SONA of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. this coming July 27. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA will coordinate with the leading agencies such as the Secretary Generals of both Houses of Congress to maintain order.
Hintayin na lang po natin yung mga announcement
Lalo na yung sa counterflow, yung bubuksan nating zipper lane, at yung exclusive po na lane para po doon sa a-attend sa zona.
The MMDA will also strictly follow the guidelines of Malacanang to ensure an orderly and safe zona. Around 1,500 traffic enforcers will be deployed by the agency to various roads in Metro Manila. Traffic flow is expected to congest in some areas near the Batasang Pambansa complex in Quezon City due to temporary road adjustments to make way for officials that are part of the zona. The number coding will not be suspended as the MMDA sees that this would only further congest the flow of traffic. Meanwhile, protesters are expected on that day, so the Mobile Command Center is also on standby, where law enforcement agencies like the Philippine National Police or PNP will ensure seamless communication with those expected to rally. The PNP also has strict guidelines for the protesters, and their communication is ongoing regarding the limits of where they are allowed to hold demonstrations.
Lagi naman po natin silang nire-remind yung mga realista na to maintain po yung peace and order. Alam naman natin na karapatan nila na magpahayag, pero ito pong karapatan na ito ay may limitasyon, lalong-lalo na po kung nakaka-apekto sa karapatan naman ng ibang tao.
J.M. Thompson for The Nation.
A botched police operation in Bulacan nearly led to the wrongful arrest or detention of a businessman, but it culminated in the relief of the officers involved, to include the chief of the San Rafael Police Station in Bulacan. Ryan Lesigas returns and fills us in with more.
Just past 12 noon on July 16, CCTV footage captured this businessman leaving a restaurant in Barangay Tangos, Baliwag, Bulacan. The man was heading toward his vehicle when he was suddenly surrounded by several men. While the video has no audio, it clearly shows what appears to be a heated argument. Moments later, the man who was carrying an umbrella can be seen being forcibly escorted towards a sedan. The men seen in the video were later identified as police officers.
This is a actual police operation, but the police operation is not following the correct procedure na pag-aresto, not following the police operational procedure. And so, they are now in hot water.
According to the victim's complaint, he was approached by 4 men who identified themselves as police officers and tried to force him into a red vehicle. The group allegedly failed to present a warrant of arrest or any legal document, prompting the victim to refuse to go with them. Employees of the establishment came to his aid, preventing the men from taking him away. The investigation later revealed that the incident was a case of mistaken identity. According to PNP Chief Police General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr., the 3 police officers from the San Rafael Municipal Police Station involved in the operation have been relieved from their posts. The chief of the San Rafael Municipal Police Station was also relieved due to command responsibility.
They've been relieved of their posts. They were assigned to regional holding unit and facing administrative and criminal cases, including the concerned head of office or the chief of police o yung mga opisyal na nagsusupervise sa kanila for command responsibility.
The involved police officers are now under the custody of the personal holding and accounting unit.
Well, pagka mag-ooperate ka, you should be correct and or clear of your target. Meaning, yung subject nyo nang i-operate is alam na alam nyo at pinag-aralan nyo, and therefore merong kakulangan yun sa intelligence work. And sumunod yun is coordination. Bakit hindi coordinated ito sa Baliwag or other police stations?
Ryan Lesigas for The Nation.
Nourishing meals or nutritious dishes need not cost more out of pocket. It's just a matter of what one can conceive and prepare with even a few ingredients. This is the challenge of the DSWD's latest brainchild in line with its Walang Gutom program. As we hear the details from our Elijah Canlas.
12 regional teams competed in the national finals of the Walang Gutom Kusinero Cook-Off Challenge 2026 in Quezon City this Friday. The DSWD-led competition highlights affordable and nutritious Filipino meals under the government's anti-hunger program. DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian stressed the importance of preparing healthy, budget-friendly food for Filipino families.
Pero hindi rin sapat na may pagkain lang sa hapag. Mahalaga rin na alam natin kung paano maghanda ng pagkaing masarap, masustansya at akma sa pangangailangan ng bawat membro ng pamilya.
Gatchalian also praised the program beneficiaries for showcasing their potential to succeed with the right government support.
Ipinakita nyo na ang bawat benepisyaryo ng Walang Gutom program ay may kakayanang umangat kapag ang tamang suporta ay natatanggap.
First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos attended the event to personally witness the regional champions' healthy dishes. Region 9's Junray Flores and Ariel Balucan won the championship with their entry Monggut Marang Sagata with Tusaba corn. Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte also joined the gathering to emphasize the value of nutritious home-cooked meals.
Ang pinakamasarap na pagkain, hindi natin natatagpuan sa pinakamahal o pinakasosyal na restaurant. Para sa marami sa atin, the most delicious meals come from the home.
Belmonte added that she hopes the program inspires more mothers to build healthier communities.
Sana marami pa tayong mga nanay at kapamilya na mahikayat sa pamamagitan ng ating Walang Gutom program. Together, let's reach for a future where every Filipino household has a winning, nourishing kitchen.
Aside from cash prizes, the winners receive sustainable livelihood grants from the DSWD to help secure their long-term livelihood. Elijah Canlas for The Nation.
We'll be right back with more stories that matter. You're watching PTV News Tonight.
Simula na ng paglilitis. Haharapin na ang mga tanong ng taong bayan.
Mahalaga ang pakikinig, lalo na sa mga usapin patungkol sa pamamahala sa ating bayan.
Susubaybay talaga ako niyan.
Siyempre, taong bayan tayo, kailangan nating makita yung katotohanan.
Even though na meron kang posisyon sa isang gobyerno,
sana harapin ng akusado ang impeachment na mayroong katapatan.
Kung talaga namang mayroong ebidensya, nararapat na managot.
Dapat sila yung halimbawa ng maayos na pamumuno para maging maayos ang bansang Pilipinas.
Subaybayan ang live coverage ng The Impeachment Trial on air at sa digital platforms. Dito lang sa inyong People's Television.
Webwatch. Sa panahong laganap ang fake news, dapat laging listo. Ang fake news ay impormasyong hindi totoo. Ito rin ay maaaring totoong impormasyon ngunit ginagamit upang makapanloko, manira o impluwensyahan ang mga tao. Kung hindi mag-iingat, ito ay maaaring magdulot ng pagkalito, takot, pinsala at kaguluhan. Bago maniwala, alamin muna kung ito ay fact. Impormasyong napatunayang may katotohanan ayon sa mga ebidensya, opinion, impormasyong nakabatay lamang sa sariling pananaw o paniniwala, o false information, impormasyong walang katotohanan at batayan. Upang hindi mabiktima, tandaan ang mga sumusunod. Ugaliing tingnan, basahin o panoorin ang buong impormasyon. Siguraduhin mula ito sa verified accounts o credible sources. Tiyaking hindi ito manipulated media. At gumamit ng fact-checking tools. Iwasang magbigay ng personal data o mag-click ng mga malisyosong link. Maging mapanuri at kilatisin ang mga detalye. At iwasang mag-share kung hindi siguradong ito ay totoo. Tandaan, huwag hayaang maging fake. Ang fact.
Home is where your health journey begins. Huwag palampasin ang weekly health advice mula sa mga eksperto. Masasarap at masusustansyang recipe. Guided exercises to boost your fitness levels. Tips to keep our fur babies happy and healthy. Activities na perfect pang-bonding ng buong pamilya. Ito po si Nina Corpus. Samahan niyo kami tuwing Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga para sa simula ng healthier and happier lifestyle ng buong pamilya. Health at Home. Dito lang sa inyong People's Television.
GADWatch, Anti-Violence Against Women and Children Act.
Anti-Violence Against Women and Children Act or RA 9262, ang goal niya is to protect women in an intimate relationship or sexual or dating relationship with another persons. Ang accused or alleged accused pagdating sa anti-VAUC law would be the man or any woman in a relationship with another woman. Yung mga abuse na pinapenalize natin under this law, pananakit sa kababaihan, psychological abuse, emotional abuse, and economic abuse. Pag sinabi nating economic abuse, yung hindi pagsustento or pag-prevent dun sa babae ng access dun sa kanilang common funds or common income, or yung pag-prevent dun sa babae na mag-practice ng kanyang profession or magtrabaho.
The Women and Children Protection Center is primarily for investigation of cases of violence against women and children, and trafficking. We have our 24/7 Aling Police Helpline sa Facebook page namin, or they can already go directly po sa pinakamalapit or yung may area of jurisdiction sa kanila.
Base sa data ng DILG, 92.85% out of the 42,044 barangays already have functional VAUDES. 25,288 naman has been assessed.
Please, sa mga kababayan namin na pwedeng naging witness, kung hindi man naging victim ng mga ganitong mga crimes, please feel free to call yung helpline ng Women and Children Protection Center, and we'll be more than happy to serve you.
GADWatch.
Is it a yes or a no?
Are you anti or pro?
Pagdating sa mga isyung panlipunan, stay woke or go broke.
Basta relevant, napapanahon at makabuluhan para sa kabataan.
Pag-usapan natin yan sa
Schoolmates, the country's longest-running youth forum and debate show on TV.
Join ka na sa masayang usapan every Thursday dito lang sa PTV.
Authorities have identified 4 landslide dams located at the boundary of Barangay Mudan in Glan and Sapumasla in Malapatan, Sarangani. This following a magnitude 7.8 earthquake last June. Glan Vice Mayor Victor James Yap Jr. announced that the local government will perform a manual excavation to safely release trapped water, determining that blasting is an unsafe solution. To support the operations, the provincial government is implementing the Topad program, where volunteers will receive 460 pesos per day for 20 days. The operation will prioritize the lowest dam, followed by a secondary survey to ensure no hazards remain. The local government is expecting to assemble the teams for the said operation by today, July 17th. Widely recognized as the sugar capital of Mindanao, Bukidnon is currently facing a significant agricultural challenge following a red-striped soft-scale insect or RSSI infestation in over 158 hectares of sugarcane. In partnership with the Sugar Regulatory Administration or SRA and local sugar industry leaders, the provincial government has deployed sugar pest busters to combat the RSSI, a pest that feeds on plant sap and reduces crop yield. To mitigate the damage, the Sugar Pest Busters team is conducting a targeted insecticide spraying operation. As of July 14, 2026, over 72 hectares of the affected areas have been treated. Beyond immediate spraying, the SRA is implementing various measures to protect farmers and prevent further infestation. Meanwhile, farmers are advised to treat their seedlings, burn infested leaves, and immediately report any sightings of the RSSI to help protect the industry and the local economy. We'll now give you the latest buzz here at Pop Culture Corner. First up, something wild for icons. This as global girl group Cat's Eye drops the official trailer of their upcoming documentary film Cat's Eye Wild Hearts, which is set to premiere on August 12, 2026, with limited screenings worldwide, including the Philippines. The film will feature the group's global rise to fame and their growing bond with their fans as they enter a new era. Cat's Eye is a 6-member group consisting of Manon, Daniela, Lara, Megan, Yunche, and Sophia. Despite being on official hiatus from the group, Manon Bannerman is seen in a few moments of the trailer. Cat's Eye was formed through a survival reality show and is known for their hit songs Touch and Gabriella. In a P-pop world, girl group DNA just dropped their self-titled debut album today, July 17. The album features 8 tracks which explore a combination of electronic pop, rock influences, and experimental songs, with its first track also called DNA. The album is produced by the most streamed Filipino songwriter-producer Jonathan Manalo, with Regine Velasquez also credited under vocal production in some tracks. DNA consists of 3 members, Ezri, Julia, and Tasha, who also contributed as composers across the record. The group is also scheduled to hold a special album showcase on July 18 to celebrate their musical journey. The Philippine Youth Jiu-Jitsu team delivered a strong showing, capturing multiple medals at the 3rd Jiu-Jitsu Asian Youth Championship in Almaty, Kazakhstan. The national youth team finished with an impressive 12-medal haul in the 3-day tournament, winning 5 golds, 4 silvers, and 3 bronzes. Leading the country's gold medal winners were Megan Luis Cabreros, who topped the under-16 female 36-kilogram division, and Zion Amir Regudo, who clinched the under-16 male under-44-kilogram title. Elena Belia Salamillas, Evan Chang, and Gianna Isabella Cruz also contributed to the gold medal tally after emerging victorious in their respective events. Next up is the Philippine Seniors Jiu-Jitsu team, which is set to compete in the 10th JJIF Jiu-Jitsu Asian Championship, also to be held in Almaty, Kazakhstan. The country's 20-member delegation will be led by reigning champion Annie Ramirez, the Philippines' lone gold medalist in the previous edition of the tournament held in Amman, Jordan. And after weeks of trade speculation, the Rain or Shine Elasto Painters have officially dealt team captain Gian Mamuyak to the Phoenix Fuel Masters. Rain or Shine officially sent the veteran guard to Phoenix, along with its season 53 second-round draft pick, in exchange for the Fuel Masters 2030 first-round pick. The trade comes weeks after contract extension talks surrounding the former Ateneo Blue Eagles standout made headlines as his initial 4-year deal with Rain or Shine came to an end. Mamuyak played a key role in the Elasto Painters' success, helping the franchise reach 5 semifinal appearances over the past seasons. In Phoenix, Mamuyak will reunite with former Ateneo teammate Tyler Thiel and join former UAAP rival Richie Rivero as the Fuel Masters look to strengthen their backcourt. And into weather news. The southwest monsoon is affecting extreme northern Luzon, which is expected to bring partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms in Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, Abra, Batanes, and the Babuyan Islands. Same weather conditions may also be experienced in Metro Manila and the rest of the country, this due to localized thunderstorms. The previous tropical depression located outside the Philippine area of responsibility has now weakened into a low-pressure area and has no direct effect to the country. And our food for thought tonight comes from Mandy Hale, an American author, blogger, and speaker best known for her writings on self-worth, confidence, and personal growth, including The Single Woman. And she says, "You will never gain anyone's approval by begging for it. When you stand confident in your own worth, respect follows." You know, very simply put, people respect those who respect themselves. And before we end our newscast, please do take the time to like, subscribe, or share PTV social media pages flashing on your screen right about now. It would go a long way and we would truly appreciate it. And so goes PTV News Tonight's roundup of tomorrow's headline stories. I'm Sharms Espina. Join us again next week on PTV News Tonight. Have a great weekend.